Exploring the Horizons takes you to Cordova Island, where we're going to go to a very little known spot called Chamizal National Monument. There's a map in front of you that shows the disputed area between the United States and Mexico. And you're probably thinking, okay, what are you talking about, a disputed area? Well, we're going to pull into this park and we're going to find out. Right in front of you, you can see that's the border fence that separates the United States and Mexico. But this little area right here on Cordova Island was once a area that had a dispute that went on for well over 100 years. And if we all go all the way back to the Mexican-American War, after the war was over, a treaty was signed, and treaty basically stipulated that the boundary between the United States and Texas along the Rio Grande border, right there is a marker that actually shows separation between the United States and Mexico. However, things kind of changed when the river kept changing directions. Makes things hard to decide where this border was. And so, throughout time, various figures involved in the history of the United States and Mexico did get involved as they tried to settle this border dispute. The borderline kept changing because the river kept changing directions. Even got to the point where people would even try to reroute the river and then try to say that the route that the river flowed now belonged to the respective country. So this went on for a while, from the times of Abraham Lincoln all the way up to the present times, almost in the 1960s. In 1963 is when the dispute was finally settled. Now this area is going to be marked as a gift shop. There's some hoodies, there's hats, and there's even some nice looking coffee cups that are going to be for sale if you want to check out the merchandise here. Also, you even have little toys and snakes, and those are going to be some sort of generic Lego that you can buy for the kids, as well as some Native American artifacts as well. So if you want to know more about this border dispute I was just talking about, this is the right place. As you walk through there, you pass by some public restrooms and then also a desk where there are brochures. There's also various artwork from the area, including this one from Benito Juárez called Child to Man. There's the artwork right there. So as we continue, there is information about some of the local Native American culture, as well as the Rio Grande itself, as well as the plant life that exists in the Rio Grande. This monument does have a bit of museum quality to it. This room here looks like an old American living room. Even comes with a TV set, and you push a button and it'll actually show you a show.
Became a major impasse. This led to prolonged negotiation, arbitration, and further disagreement in the first half of the 20th century. This all had grown into an international issue that strained diplomatic relations.
So if you don't mind taking a quick moment to hit that like button during this pause. So if you want to listen to that same show in Spanish, you can also hit the button for Spanish. It's available in either language. So as you go through the monument, there is stuff that talks about the history as well as some of the battles, including the Battle of Brazito that took place in New Mexico. And it does talk about how in the 1911, a study was done to try to settle the border dispute. However, the United States rejected the settlement. However, eventually it was settled when Kennedy decided to reach out to the Mexican president during the Cold War and suggest that the 1911 settlement be honored. However, Kennedy wasn't around, unfortunately, to see the settlement through, as we all know that he had been assassinated and then was later on replaced by Lyndon B. Johnson, who then finished off the agreement. So as you go through this museum, there are information. Some of it is pretty sad. Like this is about some of the people that lived in Chamizal.
61 years old. The income is small, and the house payment now is all we can pay after our leaving.
Judgment stipulated. I think when our government gives it to any other country.
One thing that has to be understood is that even though the settlement might have been great news for the United States and Mexico, it did cause a lot of people to get displaced in the area of Chamizal itself. The United States did force American citizens and businesses to move. They were compensated as their places that they lived in, that they worshipped at, even their, where they worked at. That was all condemned. But they were all forced to move. This right here is where the river was rerouted to form the permanent barrier that we have today. And those were the buttons that each president pushed to open up the dams. So, unfortunately, there's always a downside whenever time there's a dispute. But here people can leave stuff. This person left Skibidi Toilet Riz from Ohio as some way to resolve a long-term challenge that the board just said. There's other notes here. This individual has, we talked about his testosterone. So some people weren't taking it very serious. So going back to the history of it, so unfortunately people did have to move to other places, and most of the old houses were torn down, and part of this area was turned into a park that we have here today. There is an amphitheater there, and there are movies and plays that are shown in there at times. And then you can also use a QR code for a brochure. You can also get a paper brochure. So if this helped you out, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and also select the video. Thanks.